Hey, Tony Gas here, popping in. Now, yesterday, I think it was yesterday, I did a video and I was talking about men of character. It was about the one thing, I think it said one thing, something about a mistake women making. This is what I need you to understand. And we're going to keep talking about this because I want to be able to address the concerns and what people are saying. And some of the ladies, what I hear some of the ladies saying, well, if I want to live a certain lifestyle, then I need a man with a certain amount of money. What you have to realize is that you don't get to pick a lifestyle if you're not willing to work for the lifestyle. So if a man gives you a lifestyle, that's not your lifestyle if you did not build that lifestyle with him. That is his lifestyle that you came into. So when he leaves, it will no longer be your lifestyle. Because although he may be told you got to pay alimony or whatever, if he has a lifestyle that he can sit you down and he can get a nanny or he can travel the world, he most likely will want a prenup. That is his lifestyle. The lifestyle that you get to have is a lifestyle you help build with your man. See, you are very delusional as a woman if you think that there are men who are okay with a woman coming in and making demands on his finances, but then not being okay with all of the demands that he will want to make. And it won't feel or seem fair. And the reason why I'm telling you this is because I know quite a lot. You have to remember, I am a celebrity life coach. I've been coaching celebrities since 2010. I know multi-millionaire women. I know billionaire women. I have worked with countless women who are rich and miserable. So one thing money cannot buy is it cannot buy peace. It cannot buy happiness. The other thing what you have to realize is if character is not the only thing, the sole thing that you pay attention to, you're going to be disappointed. Because this is what I want you to realize. You can meet a man in 2020, and because he had 10 properties that he bought in 2015, those properties from 2015 to 2020 had doubled or tripled in value depending on where he bought it at. But it at least doubled. So now his $1 million in real estate, let's say we just gonna call it $1 million, but it probably could be 3 million, is now 6 million. So when you meet this man, if he has taken equity out, he'll be sitting on $1 million plus. This man can have a Mercedes S-Class. He can be living in a beautiful home himself that he may even be renting because he believes in owning what you rent out and then renting where you live, which a lot of wealthy people do. And now he can take you for the finest life. He can have a driver. You get married within 18 months. You get pregnant. He has a midwife. the nanny, you already interviewing nannies, and then guess what? The real estate market crashes. Everything he is holding loses 50% of its value. Now, where are you? Rich wife. What you have to understand, everything that goes up must come down. There was a year in my career where I made $500,000 like 2-3 years in a row. And then the following 2-3 years, I made $250,000. So imagine when you get accustomed to having $500,000 profit that you could live out of. That was like, when I say made, it's like what we could live out of. So imagine you're living out of $500,000. Like, that is your budget. That's your lifestyle. And then the next year, it's cut in half. A woman who says she wants a man who has a certain financial level lets me know that she doesn't understand money, because no man's financial level stays the same forever. Not even Jeff Bezos, and his wife divorced him. His wife left him. Not even Bill Gates, and his wife left him. So what I'm trying to help you understand is that money does not matter if a man has character. Because a man who has character will not ever be broke for long. Because what character does is character brings favor. Character brings grace. Character brings mercy. What character does is character produces currency. So when a man has character, people will pour into him. People will give him money. People will give him raises. People will give him advances. People will give him tips. People will give him opportunity. There's no such thing as a consistently broke man with character. There's no such thing, because the byproduct of character is going to translate into money at some point. And that's what I need you to understand, is that nothing that you go into, where do you think P. Diddy got money? Harvey Weinstein had a lot of money. Donald Trump got money. Bill Cosby had money. What did these men not have? They did not have character. See, the thing about it is, when you meet a man with character, he may have money, but the thing about it is, a man with character don't want a woman who has an income requirement on his life, because he doesn't know what tomorrow is going to bring. So if one of the main reasons you love him is because of his financial stability, he doesn't feel like that's love. That's conditional. Marriage vows literally say for richer or poorer. It doesn't say for rich or richer. It doesn't say for richer or richer. It says for richer or poorer, because life has twists and turns of its own. So there are no guarantees other than, who is that man in the dark? Who is that man when no one is looking? So there are women who got with a man who started making money, and then he threw it in her face. You know what? A lot of men go through that. For most men, they can snap out of it. It's a phase. It's because people have put so much stock on money that it becomes a drug, it becomes addicting, it becomes a high, that a man will even be susceptible to thinking money has made him better or more of a man. But when he's called out for that, A man with character, a man with character does not mean a perfect man. A man with character means this is a person who has a heart for growth. He has a growth mindset. He wants to be better. He wants to learn. When he's called out on his crap, he's willing to change. That's a man with character. So it doesn't matter if a man is 60 years old or if he is 20 years old. When I was making $20,000 a year, my coworker was like 56 years old. We made the same amount of money because we worked in a group home with developmentally disabled adult men. So the pay was $8.50, and then you would max out at $10. So the max he could make was $10 an hour. And he was married with kids. And he showed up to work every day. But you know what he was doing? He was saving his money because he wanted to buy a beauty supply store. He wanted to get him a little store and open a beauty supply store. So he would come to work with this book that was written by a man who started a beauty supply store, a black man who started a beauty supply store in the black neighborhood. And he wanted to do that because typically those are owned by Asians, but they're selling all black products. So he said, let's take control of our own products. And yes, we probably getting it from Asia, but at least we could be the one that's profiting from it if it's being sold in America. That's what a man with character is going to do. He doesn't want to stay where he's at. He doesn't want to be in that same place. And he hadn't been married too long. Reason why is the same stuff. Life happens, relationships happen, judgmental stuff. So what you have to realize is, as a woman, you don't just get to come into a man's situation and just ride high and just ride off of it. And you would be ignorant to think that your sex and you cooking is what his money is buying. That makes you a prostitute. So as a woman, you should have pride and want to be a part of what is being built in your household so that you have ownership in it. But if you just want a man with money so that he can provide a lifestyle and sit you down when you have kids, you have no ownership in the relationship because he already had everything. So yes, you may say, well, we're married, so we're one. That's not reality, though. You're not dealing with Jesus Christ. You're dealing with a man that's raised in this society. This society is not raising men to let a woman come in and freeload, to let a woman come in with a income requirement and an entitlement, but then not want to give what he feels his money is worth. So you don't get to dictate and determine what his money is worth. A lady said she won't deal with a man who doesn't make like $200K a year or something like that. Her monthly expenses is $6,500. Okay, that's your problem. If you made your expenses $6,500 as a single mother, then that is your problem. That's your choice. You don't have to be at $6,500. You chose to live in California. You could live in Texas. You chose to build your bills that high. So how can you expect a man to come in and say, because you've done this with your money and you've got to this $6,500 a month, I'm going to take care of this $6,500 a month. Well, he may be more fiscally responsible and say, no, that's what you did. That's too high for one person. But if that's where you at, then That's fine. Keep your job and keep that. But me, I'm thinking more so Texas, Georgia, Alabama, more land for your money, work remote, still travel for work, still can work with the same company, but you got more house for your money. He might have a different mentality. It take two. So you just can't expect him to come in and say, oh, I'm just going to jump on your plan. I'm going to jump on your plan and I'm going to maintain your nanny. I'm going to maintain your 6,500. But then if you say, well, I want you to be at the equal amount, I ain't asking you to maintain this. I'm not asking you to maintain this, but I need you to be at least at this equal amount or close to this. Then he's going to say, okay, well, if I'm bringing the same amount of money into the house and you going all the time traveling to make your money, I'm going traveling to make my money, what kind of sense of family do we have? Okay, so then you say, well, we're going to have a child together. I'm going to sit down. When a woman sits down, you don't get to just assume that life is going to be nanny or the best daycare or the best schools or the best cars or the best whatever. A part of life is weathering the storms. It's building together. A part of life is having a budget. That budget may mean, hey, okay, well, we're going to be at this right here budget, but what we're going to do is let's put our heads together and we're going to start a business from home. So like this t-shirt line or this mug line or this virtual assistant company. And while you're at home, whenever the baby's taking a nap, then you could be, shipping out the orders and I'm going to be marketing and selling it. And I'm going to be working my job full time, but let's come together. See, what you have to understand as a woman is it's part of your job in the marriage to put your head together with your man so that you could build together. If he's already built and you can't support and encourage and help him go even higher, then what use will he see in you as an emotional partner, as a loving partner? If it's just about his money and him providing you a lifestyle, then that's just a business transaction and he's going to treat you like property. And that's what you have to understand. And what you have to realize is this. As a woman, where you want to be at is you want to be able to look at this man and look at his character. And I think a lot of women don't understand what character means. The women who is just focusing on the finances and keep bringing up the finances. Character means that this man is ambitious. He is God-fearing, like a submissive will, understanding that is a bigger picture than him. Life is bigger than him. Character is a man who is emotionally intelligent. He has a growth mindset. He wants to grow. He wants to get better. This man will not yell at you. He will not curse at you. He will not call you out of your name. He will not cheat on you. He will not beat on you. He will not lie to you. He will not deceive you, mislead you, control you, dominate, dictate, domineer. That is what character is. So now think about this logically. If a man has that character, why wouldn't a woman be willing to partner with that man? Two heads better than one. Put your heads together and create streams of income that you can partner with, instead of coming in and saying he has to be at this certain level to sit me down if we're going to have a family. A lady was saying that, if a man wants her to have kids, then he needs to be able to provide and sit her down and provide a certain lifestyle. That doesn't take a lot of money, because your child doesn't have to have Gucci onesies. Your child doesn't have to have a nanny. If you're home with the child, baby food is not gonna put you in the poorhouse. Like a man don't have to make a lot of money You don't have to live in a 6-bedroom house when it's the 3 of y'all. Like, you could be in a 2-bedroom apartment and building, but with peace and happiness, and then creating businesses that could be ran right outside your house, right in your house. Y'all could put y'all head together and start a brokering company to where y'all brokering freight. You at the house and you on the computer and you brokering freight all day. You done sent out 20, 30 loads. You done sent out 20, 30 loads, and your company making 100 to 500 a load that you brokering. When I ship a car, I go on a website and it's a broker. The broker finds me the person with the truck. The broker get $200 off the top. And then whoever picking up the car gives the driver cash money. Whether that's $700, it'll been up to $1,600 when I'm shipping cars around the country. Imagine that broker. That broker is working at home. I'm one person out of the USA. I found this broker's website through a Google search. So how many people in the USA is finding this person's website and shipping their cars every day? Even at 10, they making $2,000 a day. That's $14,000 a week. That's a business that's ran from home. So it is a man's job to go out and provide, but it's a woman's job to partner with him, help him with the ideas, encourage him, speak life into him, support him while he's building from 0 to 100, as long as he's willing to love you. And it don't take a long time, because your man might have the gift of gab. I've literally watched men get on YouTube and go from 0 subscribers to 100,000 subscribers and doing YouTube full time in 1 year. Guess what? All a woman has to do is say, you got a lot of wisdom. You really could hold a conversation, like you really is a talker. Have you ever heard of these YouTubers that's just making YouTube? You know how much, just like that. Just like that. Life could be changed within 3 years. But guess what? You can't put a price on, you cannot put a price on being in the trenches together. Building from little to nothing. Building from, even if you at 70K, that still ain't nothing that's going to have you in the lap of luxury. If you at 30K, if a man at 30K, then you may have to work. But then if you have kids, that is life. Like, being able to get sat down when you have kids is a luxury. That's not mandatory. That's a luxury because of our economy and our cost of living. When you say, oh, well, what about the old days? Yes, they were eating beans and rice. They weren't eating filet mignon topped with shrimp. Like, you got to really be realistic. Them women who was at home, it was Little House on the Prairie. Look at that show. That's how you want to live? So it's like, to think that it's a man's job to just sit a woman down to where she don't have to work and it's supposed to be luxury, that's the internet. That ain't real life. Yeah, you could sit down, but you still may have to be using coupons. You still may have to have, you're going to have a budget. You're going to have to cook at home versus eating out. You may have to be in an apartment or in a house that is the price of an apartment instead of being able to put down X amount of percent to buy a house right out the gate. You may have to build together, but that's what makes marriage beautiful. Partnership, teamwork, not a woman coming in and saying, you got to have X amount of dollars so I could vacation. And so I could sit down if I want to sit down. So I could retire if I want to retire. You got to have X amount of dollars. It's like, what do that man look like? Your slave? Like, you got life messed up. You could go in and feel like that you want to. You know what you're going to get? You're going to get cheated on. You're going to get cheated on. You might end up getting beaten on. You're going to get cussed out. You're going to get called out your name. It's not no man finna come in and have a woman say, you got to make X amount of dollars for me to be with you. You got to be able to sit me down for me to be with you. You got to be financially stable for me to be with you. Because the man could be like, listen, I'm doing a work. A man of character. He could be like, listen, I'm doing a work that I can't come down from. I'm working with these boys in the inner city. I eat what I kill. Meaning I got to go out and shake hands and kiss babies and raise money for my nonprofit organization to be able to pay myself a salary. And my board has to vote on my salary. And right now in this district of St. Louis or Los Angeles or Memphis or Houston, Dallas, Gary, Indiana, my salary is $30,000. But I'm doing a work that's changing lives. Guess what's going to happen? In that man program is going to be a Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant went back and took care of the man that looked out for him. In that man program is one day going to be a LeBron James. In that man program, he one day, because of his character, he going to get awards in the city. And they're going to start telling him about grants that he has access to, and he going to get that $300,000 grant. Then he going to get that $500,000 grant. Then he going to get the $5 million grant. I know people with these grants. That's how I'm throwing these numbers. I ain't just making up numbers. I know people with nonprofits with these grants. But guess what? Guess what a woman's supposed to do? If a woman meet a man who going to treat her the way God say a man should treat a woman, and this man is at 30,000 and he's at 50 years old, but you're not going to get cheated on. You're not going to get beat on. You're not going to get yelled at. You're not going to get cursed out. You may have to keep your job for some time, but y'all going to have love. You got arms. You got legs. You got a brain. Sometimes you are in the place. Women want to holler about Proverbs 31 all the time. Proverbs 31, Proverbs 32, Proverbs 31, and then want to come be a Proverbs 5 woman. Waiting in the wings to seek and devour a man. Read the book of Proverbs. Read Proverbs 31. Since that's the standard, Proverbs 31, Proverbs 31, that thing say that woman woke up when it was still dark outside, went far to get food, came home, fed her family, knitted in wool coats for her family, went into the marketplace, made money, went and saw land, acquired land. So how you want to holler about Proverbs 31, and then want to be a Proverbs 5 woman? Where the Bible say, watch out for that woman who is waiting in the wings, who got sweet lips, whispering sweet nothings to suck you in her house and devour you. That's what you is when you telling a man he got to make an X amount of dollars to be with you. All that man need is character, and the dollars gonna come. Women say, oh, well, men have a beauty requirement. Have you looked in the mirror? Like, really? Have you looked in the mirror? Do you see stretch marks? Do you see a fupa? Is your nose perfect? Is your lips perfect? Is your skin perfect? How about your edges? How about the damage from the heat on your hair? From the glue, from the lace fronts? He is making concessions too. You ain't fine as wine. You ain't the best thing since sliced bread. Every man making a concession when it comes to looks. I've been married for 17 years. My wife is gorgeous. And she literally has been 17 different sizes. That is a woman's life. But I'm okay with that because I'm a man of character. So the same way she was okay with us being up, like we done been up as millionaires, and you still go through as millionaires. You'll go through a recession as a millionaire. You'll go through months as millionaires where you don't make hardly no money. What you think the pandemic did to millionaires who worked in an industry that they had to shut down? So if you just so concerned about a man's money, what are you going to do then? What are you going to do during the next pandemic and his business is shut down? What are you going to do in the next recession and his business is shut down? So now what you going to say? Oh, well, I'm going to leave. If you can't maintain it, you ain't no man. Some things outside of his control. What are you going to do with his corporate job that's paying him high six figures and they start doing layoffs? Go on Google and Google major companies that have gone out of business. And you're going to see how many people done got laid off. You're going to see how many people that got laid off. I got a business partner who made 6 figures working with one of the top organizations in the country for over a decade. But guess what? Had no time for his family. And it came a point where his wife, who was used to 6-figure lifestyle, told him, I don't care about the money. I want you. Any woman with a heart, that's a realization, that's a fork in the road she's going to come to. And guess what? That man quit that corporate job, had to sell some stuff, had to liquidate some assets, had to pinch pennies, had to stretch, had to make ends meet. But with his wife's support, with her love, with her encouragement, he was able to build his own business, still able to make 6 figures. Took a few years, but she supported him through it. That's what a man of character wants to know about a woman. Will she love me when I'm down? I'm up right now. Even if you meet a man with character who is up. Job was up. Read the book of Job. What if God sees so fit that your man of financial security goes through a Job season? Don't come hollering about, oh, well, I go through it with him because we in it together. Because I got him and I know he had money. I know what he capable of. So if he lose it, I'm a stick beside him. Don't come telling that lie now. That's a lie from the pit of hell. Because if you meet him and he got character and you ain't willing to join forces with him, put your head with his head and say, hey, okay, you a school teacher, but how about this? Have you thought about getting your master's? Because we're going to get married. Our wedding date is set. How about you get your master's? I'll help you find scholarships. We'll come together. We won. We'll pay what we got to pay. You get your master's, and then you get a principal job. That's what a woman's supposed to do. Not meet a man of character and say, you a 50-year-old school teacher making $35,000 a year? I make $100,000. Okay, go get the man with $100,000 that got $100,000 without any of your help and see how he treats you. So this the thing. I ain't saying that you got to be with no broke man. But what I'm telling you is, even when you meet a man with money, if he has character, he's not going to tell you, nor is he going to promise you that he could take care of you forever. Because a man with character got common sense. And he know that business could be up today and down tomorrow. If he on a corporate job making millions, he know he could be the CEO today and fired tomorrow. If he a successful entrepreneur, he know his business could be in season right now and doing bad tomorrow. He got common sense. So he not going to come in and say, hey, I'm a man with character. You could just kick your feet up, relax. He going to say, listen, you know, this is what I do. And this part of my plan, like I would like if we have kids for you to be able to be home with the kids as long as you want to. But at the same time, you know, we have to still like budget. Like it's not just like we could buy endless Tory Burch sandals or we could do these extravagant vacations all the time, because I'm still on a budget. Like even though I make 6 figures, I'm on a budget because I don't know what tomorrow holds. I don't know what's going to happen in my industry. So I don't just live like a king. Like I work like a slave and I make a king's ransom, but I still budget like a blue collar man. That's what a man with character is going to start to say. Yeah, he going to splurge every now and then, have some fun every now and then, but he going to have some reins about himself. And that's what you got to realize and understand. And so if he got character, he won't be broke for long. If he got character, he don't want to stay at the same level. If he got character, he going to be open to your ideas. So don't feel like that men are not making concessions, because none of us get the woman that we envisioned. Because if a person envisioned, just like women ain't getting the man that you envision. So the same way you got to compromise, a man got to compromise. If a man envision a woman, you think she going to have flaws? No, he going to envision a woman that's absolutely flawless and gorgeous and everything. So when he meets you, he's saying, okay, her nose is this. Her edge is doing this. She got a little fupa. That Buddha might be a little flat, or it might be a little too big, but she got a good heart. She's still pretty. She's still beautiful. And that's what has to be understood. And when you understand that, now you're able to move forward. Now you understand he making concessions just like you. And now y'all come together and y'all could build. And you could build the same thing. You come in. So, hey, this Tony Gaskin. Got to get going. But think about this. And listen to understand, not to just respond. Get out your feelings and understand that I'll never say, hey, go be with a broke man. Because what you got to realize, a man at 30,000 with character is not a broke man. That's a rich man in the making. So if he got a nonprofit and his salary is 30,000, you come in, y'all hit it off, you become his wife, you say, guess what? I've been taking a grant writing class. I done found 10 different grants. I'm finna apply for these grants for your foundation. That's what a woman does in partnership with her husband. Not just come in and say, oh, you got to be making S amount of dollar. You ain't making that on. I can't be with you. Now, you setting yourself up for failure. And you're going to pick the wrong kind of man. And then you're going to pay a price that money cannot solve. And that's going to be the lesson that you get. So I'm trying to save you now. But you can know it all if you want to. But one thing I'm going to guarantee you, I know men better than you. So ignore me you want to, and go chasing just a man with money you want to, and watch what happens. I guarantee it. You're going to come right back to me And Lord willing, you ain't got a black eye or a broken heart and crying uncontrollably. You're going to come right back to me and say, Tony, everything you told me was true. Watch and see.